Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Okay, here we go.
Where the plays get broken down and science gets denied.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
Hour 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Raising Cane studio.
Welcome in hour number 2 here on a Friday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp here with you. Alondra Villarreal, Braxton Rizzuto. Those are Z's. Well, they look like R's to me. That was a hectic first hour, huh? I mean, I told you during the break, I was like, Braxton, I applaud you because you're the only, non-everyday member of this show, and you've screwed up the least between the three of us. So shout out to you, man.
Appreciate that.
We've had a great time. I enjoyed the long commercial break, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I mean, we sat there. We were laughing about it. We had plenty to talk about in that segment. We just combined two. No big deal. We made it work. You got to watch some SpongeBob. Honestly, that was a good first hour, guys. That was a Friday first hour, if we've ever had one. Okay, a little bit more sportsy here in the second hour. Do you want to talk a little LSU football? Do you want to talk some Saints? LSU gymnastics coach Jay Clark will be with us at 8:30, and then the 9 o'clock hour, we're pretty busy there. Ross Jackson will be with us at 9 o'clock. 9:30, former LSU pitcher Doug Thompson will join us. Kind of get his thoughts of what he saw in the opening weekend, what he expects to see this weekend in Jacksonville, and of course we'll close everything out like we do with Ask the Bench. Right now, though, Paul Finebaum was on Get Up earlier this week. Now, you guys know how I feel about Paul Finebaum. Typically, I would never bring up anything Paul Finebaum had to say. Only if I was anonymously calling into his show would I ever interact with him in all likelihood. But he was asked on Get Up on their college football segment of who won the offseason. And Finebaum said Lane Kiffin. How many times do I need to say that? He dominated the end of the season with his move, and then he managed the college football chaos. Look at what he brought in the portal. He said he made major acquisitions there, but I think even with a difficult schedule, LSU is a college football playoff team. And I got to tell you, I never agreed with anything Paul Finebaum says. He nailed this one. Lane Kiffin did win the offseason. Lane Kiffin won the offseason before he has ever won a game here, because you have to admire what Lane Kiffin's done. Whether you're the biggest Lane Kiffin fan in the world or whether you were adamantly against him coming to this program, you got to admire what he's done. There was so much chaos surrounding his decision to leave Ole Miss. So many attacks on him. Everybody in college football painted Lane Kiffin as this villain, even though other coaches have done this multiple times. He didn't care. He came in, he went to work. I mean, everybody, talked about, Lane Kiffin's going to be so great for the media. Guys, he hadn't even really spoke to the media, and I prefer it that way. Even as a member of the media, we here want Lane Kiffin to go out and add transfer portal players and retain your coaching staff and retain key players from a year ago. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, Lane Kiffin had his opening press conference, and you didn't really hear from him again until 2 weeks ago when he was recapping his signing class. That's it. So all this chaos surrounding his decision to move to Baton Rouge and leave poor little old Ole Miss. Everybody made a spectacle out of this. You know who the only person that did not make a spectacle out of this coaching change situation was? It was Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's not in the national media pushing this on TV every single day. Lane Kiffin's not one of these unhinged Ole Miss fans who can't understand the fact that Lane Kiffin left you to go to the prom with the prettier girl. That's exactly what happened if you're an Ole Miss fan, and you can't wrap your head around that. Lane coming to Baton Rouge, ignoring all that outside noise, coming in, putting his head down, and getting to work. That's exactly what you wanted as an LSU fan. Because if you look at the end of the Brian Kelly era and all the rumors and news and reports that came out around Brian Kelly maybe not having the best work ethic, Lane Kiffin seems to be the complete opposite. Lane Kiffin seems to be somebody who's like, hey, I came here to win. I know there's massive expectations around me. I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to let the people of Baton Rouge down. I don't want to let LSU down. I'm going to come in, I'm going to work my butt off, and I'm going to assemble what could very well be the best transfer portal class of all time. You brought in 42 guys. Find me a position that LSU needed that LSU did not address in the offseason. Everybody was waiting on offensive line. You got multiple guys who I think are plug and play. I mean, Jordan Seaton's going to start on this team. I talked about it a little bit the other day with Aliyu Ba, kind of an under-the-radar guy, but started 24 consecutive games at Maryland at guard. He's a plug-and-play guy. Can play either guard spot. You were able to retain Braylon Moore. You were able to retain Weston Davis, whatever that means to you. Trey Dez is back. Like, you didn't lose any major player in the portal, by and large. I mean, we've talked about Carius Kern. I think Kyle Parker's actually a pretty big loss. To me, that one's going to hurt more than Kern, just because I think Kyle Parker's going to be great next year at Ohio State, next to Jeremiah Smith, with Julian Sayin throwing him the football. But, again, whether you're the biggest fan of Lane Kiffin in the world or whether you despise the guy and thought LSU should have looked elsewhere, you have to admire what he's done. Like, hand up, if you would have asked me, like, if I would have been the athletic director and you'd have said, Taylor, who are you going to hire? I probably would have hired Kenny Dillingham. One, I didn't know how gettable Lane was. Two, I didn't know how long you were going to have to wait. I wasn't sure if Lane Kiffin was going to pull that trigger before the early signing period. He wound up doing it, wound up working out perfectly. Like, my thought was always, if you can get Kiffin, yeah, go get him. Don't put all your eggs in that one basket. Have a backup plan. But you know what? It has worked out as good as anybody could imagine, way better than I could have imagined at this point. So shout out Lane Kiffin, everything he has done in the offseason, everything I believe that he will continue to do in the offseason as well. Want to stick with LSU, but kind of switching topics here before we take this first break. Folks over at LSU Wire put out an article of why this LSU football player can be an All-American in 2026. And the guy they mention is Deshaun Spears. I think this is a great choice. I think Deshaun Spears has all the potential in the world. He's not a household name in the SEC yet, but he could be. They mentioned his PFF grade. Spears graded out at 90.1 on PFF. That was top 5 in all of college football among safeties. A 90.3 in coverage. That was 4th in all of college football. He was the 2nd highest rated defensive player on LSU's team last year, behind only Mansour Delane, who's about to be a top 15 pick in all likelihood. I love the versatility that he could bring to this defense. He's 6'3". He's around 215 pounds. You get him up to 220. You could slide him in there at the nickel or the star position that our guy Matt Flynn loves so much. Harold Perkins was around 6'3", 220 pounds, and I actually thought he did a pretty good job, for the most part, at that star position. I've been high on this guy since he stepped foot on campus. Look, he's from my neck of the woods. I'm born and raised in Walker, Louisiana. I still live there to this day. He's right. He's a stone's throw down the road in Denham Springs. So I was a little bit biased, but I also saw the guy play a lot, and I knew how good he could be. And you saw the flashes a year ago. Again, he wasn't an everyday starter in the secondary. Now, he sat behind A.J. Hawsey and Tamarcus Cooley, which, no shame in that. Both of those guys were studs for you a year ago. But on the season last year, 29 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 interceptions. Both of those interceptions came in that Florida game. One of them, he took 59 yards back to the house for a pick 6. I think he's oozing with potential, which is why I love the Ty Benefield signing out of the transfer portal so much. Anytime somebody asks me, favorite transfer portal addition, outside of the obvious, you had to get your quarterback and you had to get the offensive line. Favorite player might be Ty Benefield because of the versatility he's going to bring to this defense. Benefield's a 3-year starter at Boise State. Last year, 107 tackles, 8.5 tackles for a loss, 2 interceptions. He can play at the line of scrimmage. He can drop back deep and kind of be that center fielder at the back of your defense. The year before that, 82 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, again, 2 interceptions. Ty Benefield can do a little bit of everything. Tamarcus Cooley is going to start at safety on this team. I don't think there's any question about it. I thought he was really good a year ago. Who's going to be that guy next to him? All of a sudden, you have a lot of options. And honestly, whoever's not the starting safety next to Tamarcus Cooley is probably going to slide down there into that star role. I would like it to be Deshaun Spears because of the size. Again, 6'3". Can he get up to 220 pounds? You're going to have options there. I think Benefield would be great there. Even though Benefield's a little bit on the smaller size, he's hovering around 6 foot, but he's physical enough to do it. We saw it at Boise State. CJ Jim Coyley. He didn't get a ton of reps in game, but he repped the star position a lot during fall camp a year ago. During the media viewing portion of those fall practices, we got to go out there. He was kind of the number 2 star at times behind Harold Perkins. Got a lot of reps there. He's a big-bodied guy. He can play safety, linebacker, star, wherever you need him. But the talent of a Deshaun Spears, pairing that with a Ty Benefield, those guys are basically interchangeable at this point. I think the sky's the limit for this team. I mean, I mentioned, the potential of a Deshaun Spears. People forget he was SEC Defensive Player of the Week after that game against Florida. And he was Bronco Nagurski National Defensive Player of the Week as well. That was the 2-interception game. He was incredible. Now, he had the privilege of playing against DJ Lagway, who I don't think is a very good quarterback. Unless you picked him off 5 times that game and probably could have had another one in there somewhere. But he was awesome in every opportunity he got. And yes, people want to point out, like when I mentioned he was the second highest rated player on your defense. Well, he wasn't an every down starter. Guys, he played over 200 snaps on this defense a year ago. That's enough of a sample size. And think about the other players on that defense. DJ Pickett was really good. AJ Halsey was awesome. Tamarcus Cooley was great. He graded higher than all 3 of those guys. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to translate into a big-time role, and just because he was graded high a year ago means he's going to be an All-American. But I think the potential's there. I think the talent's there, and I think he's going to have every opportunity to make a big impact on this defense. Whether it's at star, whether it's at safety, I'm excited to see what Tamarcus Cooley can do next year on Blake Baker's defense. All right, we'll take a quick timeout when we get back. Ross Jackson put out an interesting article on LouisianaSports.net about the possibility of Teddy Bridgewater actually returning to the New Orleans Saints. I'll give you my thoughts on that next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Somebody that will never blow a lead, that is Tommy. Windows, doors, and siding. GoTommys.com. G-E-A-U-X. Tommys with a Y.com is the website. You will clearly see the difference when you work with Tommy and the team. They're not going to blow a lead. They're just going to win awards because that's what they do. They stack banners. They stack
not
awards
every year,
every single year, bud.
They don't
not every 4 years.
They don't spread the trophies for every company?
No, they don't.
Trophies for
they
everybody?
would never let Canada make a comeback either. Go to GoTommys.com.
All right, GoTommys.com. They are the best windows, doors, siding. We're talking about party plank siding. I'm about vinyl windows, siding, whatever it is. They're amazing. Just talk to them about your project. If you're building a new house, if you're renovating, maybe you just got to want to do a little upgrade on your doors or change them. You got some rotted windows, rotted doors, whatever it is. Anything they install, lifetime warranty, the best in the business. That's why they win awards every single year. GoTommys.com.
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
All right, go to trashrangers.com. If you're signing up for residential, commercial trash pickup, if you are signing up for a roll-off dumpster, maybe you're doing some spring cleaning coming up and you need that, you tell them what you've got. They'll make sure you have the right size dumpster. If you are looking for a portable toilet, maybe you got an event going on and you want to have that delivered to you, picked up, they can do that every single time at Trash Rangers. So again, go to the website, trashrangers.com, trashrangers.com.
Yeah, if you got a business and you're maybe you're not happy with your current trash pickup, maybe it's hard to get in touch with the customer service over there. I've been there. I've done that. Give them a call. Let them know how they can help your business. They are the experts when it comes to trash removal, and they can customize their pickup schedule around your business. What time of the day, how much trash you make. Is it 1 pickup a week? Maybe it's 6 pickups a week. It doesn't matter. They can fit the project to your specific job site. And residential, roll-off dumpsters, you name it, the most reliable trash pickup, trash removal service in Louisiana. TrashRangers.com.
Wonder who that was. Welcome back in here. Friday.
Attorney Gordon McKernan.
Oh, that was Gordon. Okay. I knew it was going to say I'm attorney, but I couldn't remember. Okay. Shout out, Gordon. What's up, man?
Get Gordon.
That's right.
Speaking of, Will Helmers, part of the G team, going to come on next Monday, talk a little baseball.
Shout out to Will Helmers, man. I remember when they had to start him at third base.
Yeah.
That one game. Actually, you know what? That might have been my first baseball game working for LSU. Because it was Maneri's last year. And I think that's right. Like, I always remember, like, I started working I moved from Talk to ESPN Orgeron's last year. I started working over at LSU Maneri's last year. It always kind of lined up that way. But, yeah, he had to start at third base. He had that rough outing. You know, people wanted to crucify the dude. And, like, he shouldn't have been playing third base. He was too good of a pitcher. And then, I mean, he was a great pitcher for LSU for a number of years. Shout out Will Helmers. He'll be here. Monday, right?
He'll tell you that straight up, too.
He'll be here Monday.
Yeah, he'll be here Monday.
Right now, I wanna talk a little New Orleans Saints because our guy Ross Jackson, who's going to join us at 9 a.m., put out an article on Wednesday talking about the New Orleans Saints potentially bringing back Teddy Bridgewater this year in free agency. He mentions, you know, the Saints have never been shy about bringing back players from the past. They reacquired Mark Ingram in 2021. They brought back Jimmy Graham in 2023. Remember 2020, they brought back Malcolm Jenkins. Like, there's a lot of guys that had been on this team previously that they have brought back. And, you know, Ross writes, Bridgewater makes sense as another rekindled flame, especially if the team sees veteran quarterback Taysom Hill leave after his contract voids on March 10th, or if Hill retires. I don't think Taysom Hill is going to be back with this team. Whether he retires, whether he goes somewhere else in free agency, I just don't see that happening. I don't know how much sense it makes for the Saints. And I hate saying that because I love Taysom Hill, but I'm not quite sure how that would work. So would you want Teddy Bridgewater back? I absolutely would. Teddy Bridgewater was a great locker room guy. He was loved by fans. The problem is Teddy hasn't played in a number of years. Now, he's been on rosters, but the last time Teddy Bridgewater threw a pass, he threw 15 passes a year ago for Tampa, 62 yards. Before that, it was all the way back in 2022. He attempted 79 passes for the Miami Dolphins. Remember, he kind of retired, and then he unretired, went to Detroit to try to help him during that playoff run, be Jared Goff's backup, stayed in Detroit for 2 years, and then last year, again, 15 total passes on the year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, he's 33 years old. He'll be 34, so he's still got some tread left on those tires. And, again, I would welcome Teddy Bridgewater back with open arms because I think he is valuable as a backup quarterback in this league. He could help Tyler Shuck out. He's been in this league for a number of years with a number of different franchises in a number of different roles. When he went to the Minnesota Vikings, he was their starting quarterback until injuries caught up with him. Came to New Orleans. He had to fill in for Drew Brees when Brees had that thumb injury, and Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 as a starting quarterback here in New Orleans. 9 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. So he was really good here, and I would welcome him back. But that also begs the question, should the Saints trade Spencer Rattler? I think so. I think they should trade Spencer Rattler. And this is not a shot at Spencer Rattler. I think Spencer Rattler is valuable on this team. I actually think he's so valuable that you could get some trade value back for a guy like Rattler. I'm not saying second, third round pick, but could you get a fourth, a fifth for a guy like Rattler? You could take advantage of a lot of quarterback needy teams, I'll tell you that could be desperate. The Arizona Cardinals? You mean to tell me Spencer Rattler couldn't go in there with Arizona with a brand new coaching staff and that franchise seems keen on moving on from Kyler Murray? Spencer Rattler could go in there and be a bridge quarterback for him at the start, and who knows, maybe he could develop into something there. What about the Las Vegas Raiders? Could he go there with Clint Kubiak, who coached him a year ago in New Orleans? If you don't want Fernando Mendoza to have to start as a rookie, or you want somebody to come in and mentor him that's a really good locker room guy, Spencer Rattler could be that guy for you there. I think there is value in trading Spencer Rattler. Now, the pushback will be, Rattler's too good of a backup. You have to hold on to it. The reality is, if any team has to rely on their backup, you're already kind of screwed. And again, that's not a shot at Spencer Rattler. Like, when you look at his record, he has a 1-13 record as a starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Now, not all of that is his fault. I mean, you look at what he did last year. Over 67% completion, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 1,500 yards. So Spencer Rattler's doing his part. He's just, like, you're not losing because of Spencer Rattler. But you also weren't winning with him either. He wasn't elevating the players around him. He did a fine job. He played his role. I thought he did a good job leading that offense at times. But think about the difference in that offense when Tyler Shough stepped in there. It just felt different. He kind of elevated the players around him. Look at Devon Vele. I mean, Devon Vele had career games. Like, I know I made the joke on this show saying, oh, Devon Vele, road to 100 yards. When people always say road to 1K, it was road to 100. Devon Vele, once Tyler Shough became the starting quarterback, really thrived. I mean, that was Shough's third down go-to guy. Him and Jawan Johnson made play after play. There was a game, Tyler Shough just ripping it down the seam on third down for those first downs. Throwing it up to Vele, throwing it up to Johnson. And Chris Olave had some of the best games of his career with Tyler Shough in there, quarterback. He just seemed like Shough elevated the players around him. It's not a shot at Spencer Rattler. There's a lot of guys in the league that play their role and they do it well, and unfortunately they're not winning. That's kind of where I'm at with Spencer Rattler. Rattler goes 1-13. Tyler Shough had the same team Rattler did a year ago, and he went 5-4 as a starting quarterback. If you do trade Spencer Rattler, and you sign Teddy Bridgewater, that's good. It's a step in the right direction. How comfortable are you with Bridgewater at this point in his career? I mentioned he threw 15 passes a year ago, then he hadn't thrown a ball since 2022. How comfortable are you with him being your primary backup? You may have to actually bring in a third option. That's where it gets a little dicey for you. You look at some of the unrestricted free agents right now, and I'm going to be realistic with this. Like Marcus Mariota, 32 years old, had to start a number of games for Washington last year due to those Jaden Daniels injuries. Mariota still got it. I mean, he looked good in a number of those games. Now, Washington was terrible, and they had no weapons on the outside. They had no running game. So Mariota was kind of on his own, but he held up well. Mariota's played a lot of games in this league. He is set to be an unrestricted free agent unless something changes with franchise tags and stuff like that. But a guy like Mariota is probably not getting franchise tagged at this point in his career. I mean, Zach Wilson's out there. And I get it. Everyone likes to clown Zach Wilson for his year with the Jets. 1, nobody does well with the Jets. 2, you're not bringing him in to be a starting quarterback. Zach Wilson's still got some talent. I would welcome, if I'm cheering for any team, I would welcome Zach Wilson in as the backup quarterback. Why not? He's still got talent. He doesn't have to go in there and start 16 games for you. At least you hope not. Mitch Trubisky, he's been in Buffalo for a number of years, but he's a former first-round pick. Started a bunch of games in Chicago. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo is a free agent. That one's more wishful thinking than anything. I think the Saints would be a tough sell for a guy like Garoppolo. Not because he doesn't like the city of New Orleans or the Saints, but like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have teams out there that want him to be a starter. Like word is teams like Miami are already reaching out to him to like be that guy for this year. So I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo would turn down a potential starting role to come to New Orleans and be the backup and mentor Tyler Shough, but he's a name out there to watch who's currently a free agent. You have some options out there. I'm okay with signing Teddy Bridgewater. I'm okay with trading Spencer Rattler. But I think you have a little bit more work to do in the quarterback room if that does, in fact, happen. All right, we'll step away. We'll take a quick timeout. When we get back, transition away from football. LSU gymnastics coach Jay Clark joins us next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, we are so fired up to be back with RejuvaMe and RejuvaMeMedical.com. Several locations across
more than
Louisiana.
several. Are you kidding me?
Baton Rouge, right there in Bluebonnet and Jefferson. You've got also the Bluebonnet in Highland. You've got Prairieville, Metairie, Slidell, Covington, Houma, Shreveport, Monroe, Lake Charles, Lafayette. Also, you got some locations there in Mississippi, and they have been the leader in HRT, right? Hormone replacement therapy, helping you regain that energy, that boost that you once had, getting back to feeling like your normal self. Go see them today at RejuveMeMedical.com.
That's right. Yeah, kind of like Groovy's maybe kind of a little wiry. If you're not feeling fiery anymore as a man, if you get a little bit older, you got that hormones, they start getting out of whack a little bit. Well, go there, get a medical, get a panel, get a blood panel just to see. Go see what's happening. If there's something, maybe it's not, but if there is, they are the leader in Louisiana for over 10 years at hormone replacement therapy. Go check them out. RejuveMeMedical.com.
From the locker room to the airwaves, it's Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Welcome back in, Friday edition of OTB. Taylor Sharpie with you, sitting in for the time being for Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn. They will be back on Monday. Right now, let's go out to the phone lines. Big meet coming up. LSU gymnastics coach Jay Clark joins us right now. Coach Clark, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Doing quite well, Coach. You know, your team's always one of the top programs in the country. Everybody knows that. Like, y'all are ranked number 2 right now. You're 6-1 overall in the season. And yes, I mean, you know, it seems like it's reload instead of rebuild for you guys every year. But specifically this team, like, what has made your squad so tough to beat this year?
Well, I mean, I think we had a lot of kids come back from last year, and a lot of kids whose roles expanded that we already knew would be there even last year. But when you have Aaliyah Finnegan and Haley Bryant and Sierra Ballard and those guys leading the way, there's only so many opportunities to compete. So we knew we had some kids coming in that returning this year that their role would expand and they'd be able to do the job. I think more than anything, though, we've got a group that really seems to be bought into the way we like to do things, and they cared genuinely for each other, and they're doing it for the right reasons, and that's always a key to anybody's success.
Coach, you talk about all the veterans you have back, and certainly, but you know, when anybody that's watched this team, you see a gymnast like Nina Ballou out there, freshman. I mean, what maybe, you know, her specifically, some of the younger gymnasts on the team, what stood out to you about them?
Well, Nina in particular, Nina had been coming to our camp since she was about 8 years old. I think she had her mind made up. She was coming to LSU before we knew even who she was. She's been a mainstay in our summer life for a long time. And, that kid she's an alpha in every way, and she brings so much energy to everything that she does. Even as a freshman, she has been one of the more vocal leaders in the room, and willing to participate and willing to put herself out there in terms of giving her opinion about the way we ought to be doing things. And she's been an incredibly good impact so far, and couldn't be happier with the role that she has played so far. Over the years, she will do a lot more in terms of just sheer gymnastics than she's done so far, but she's already contributed in massive ways.
Coach, you're talking about gymnasts who have contributed in massive ways. Let's go ahead and name the Gymnast of the Week award after Caitlin Chio. I mean, she wins it last week. You know, she got this a number of times as a freshman. She's only built on that as a sophomore. That was her 12th Gymnast of the Week award. Early in her sophomore year. She had a record all-around performance on Friday. It was 39.875, perfect 10 on the floor. I mean, how is she built on that great freshman year? What have you seen from her?
I think more than anything, she's just shown a lot of growth in terms of maturity and the way she carries herself, the way she communicates with her teammates. I think last year it was sort of organic the way it happened. She just came in and did her job, didn't say a whole lot, and at times when things didn't go well for her, which wasn't often, you know, her body language would reflect that. Now she's really changed the way that she approaches things. She's done an amazing job of being a better teammate and just shown a lot of growth. When things aren't going well for her, you don't know it anymore, and that's a sign of a good leader, because she's focused on what's going on with everybody else around her. You always worry when somebody has a freshman year like that things can get sideways if they're trying to duplicate or repeat something that they did in the past. And I think she's done a really good job of managing that expectation that she has for herself, and also really turning the focus away from that and onto her teammates. And I think that's been the key to her success so far.
LSU Gymnastics coach Jay Clark joining us right now. Coach, your team's been awesome the last 2 weeks. I mean, you set your season high mark, 198.325 against Auburn last week. You guys have won 18 straight inside the PMAC. Haven't lost a home meet since January 16th of 2023. I did not realize it had been that long. When you're at home, people always ask me, what's the best environment you've ever seen in the PMAC? And Coach, for me, I don't know if it was 2015 or 2016, but you guys were taking on Florida inside the PMAC.
Yeah.
That's the loudest I've ever seen that venue. I mean, it was a top 10 matchup at the time. You guys pulled off a big win. What is it like knowing you have that kind of fan support at home? It's got to be a big advantage.
Well, first of all, that meet was 2015. It was the first time we had sold that building out, and we had been on a pretty steep trajectory of growth at that point. And you're right, that place was unbelievable that night. And look, it's different. That's what everybody's saying now. I've been saying it since I got here in 2012. So Lane can't have that all to himself, but it is different here. And we're just so blessed to have that kind of support. There's nowhere else in the country where you can walk into an arena and have that kind of just amazing, almost vitriolic support for your team and in our sport. It happens in other sports. It happens in football and basketball and others. But the arena, the PMAC on Friday nights in Baton Rouge is unlike anything else in our sport in gymnastics, and it's an incredible blessing. It's part of what draws kids to want to come here and to experience this as they go into the tail end of their careers. Because there is no pros, there is no NFL, there is no NBA, and so they want to experience the bigness of what LSU has to offer, and it's a tremendous advantage for us when our fans are packed in there and as loud as they are.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I saw a graphic over the weekend. LSU put it out. It was between your meet against Auburn, the women's basketball game against South Carolina, and opening weekend at the Box. It was 3 events over the weekend, all 11,000 plus fans inside that venue. I mean, it was something. It was just really incredible. Coach, again, you guys have been great the last few weeks, but you have been at home, Penn State and Auburn. Now you go on the road into a hostile environment. How is that different for you guys going into a meet? Because obviously at home, I mean, I just mentioned 18 straight inside the PMAC, but when you're in a hostile environment, is there a little bit extra you got to get your team ready to go, or is it just, hey, it's business as usual, just a different atmosphere?
Well, in general, it's business as usual, but there are adjustments that you have to make. I mean, everybody's equipment, even though they meet the same specs and everything, it feels a little different. Takes us a little bit to adjust to that. I don't know what to expect in terms of a crowd. I anticipate, since it's 1 versus 2 tonight, that it'll be a big crowd. But we learned we'd much rather compete in front of a large crowd that's against us than nobody. So when we go some places, then it's vapid in there because it's there's nobody in there. But for us, it's really not about the other team that's on the floor with us. It can't be. There is no defense. We can't tackle them. They can't tackle us. So it's just a different approach. We have to stay true to who we are. We're still in a growth period. We're still trying to become a finished product. And I tell them every week, we set a new floor for ourselves every week. Hopefully, if we're doing things the right way and we're moving forward and we're getting closer to where we want to be in terms of what our ultimate potential is, then every week we should see improvement and we should set a new floor for ourselves in different ways. And so, we certainly understand that this is a big meet here, and we know where we are, and we know that Oklahoma's been the gold standard. They've won 7 of the last 11 national championships in our sport. But there's a nice little respectful rivalry between the two programs right now. We were able to share the regular season title with them last year and then beat them at the SEC championship. And then, unfortunately, we came up short of making finals at the end. But we know who we're competing against tonight, and we just got to go in there confident and really do everything we can to put pressure on them and see where things come out.
Coach, you were talking about the battles that you guys have had with Oklahoma, obviously 1 versus 2. You guys have already faced them once this year. It was y'all's first meet of the year, correct? And, I mean, it says, 197.5 for both teams, but OU wins in a 6-score tiebreaker. How does that work?
Well, in our sport, we put 6 up on every event, and you count 5 of them. You count the best 5. And so when you get into a tiebreaker situation, they don't normally do it in a regular season meet, but ESPN runs that according to championship rules because it's an ESPN event. And so they go to the 6th score on every event. And our 6th score in 2 spots was lower than theirs, and I think we end up losing by a quarter of a tenth or half a tenth based on that. But it goes in the record book as a tie, and they just break the tiebreaker. They do the tiebreaker to decide the champion of that meet. And that's the same way they would do it in the postseason.
Well, Coach, speaking of that tie, the last time you guys faced the Oklahoma Sooners, what's it going to take to get this team over the top tonight?
As I said, we just got to go in there and be ourselves. It's tough to beat them. I think the last time they lost here was in 2014. You think we have a streak going into PMAC? These guys and the team they lost to was us. Back in 2014 when Reagan Corville and Sari Morrison were still on the team. But it's different times now, and they're tough to beat at home. It's really, for us, it's just about going in there and staying true to the identity that we're creating for ourselves and go compete hard and see where we end up. We're going to see these guys again down the road. We'll see them at the SEC championship, and if everything goes well, we'll see them in the NCAA championship. So this meet, while it's big and it's exciting and fans love it and it'll be great for TV, it's not going to define a whole heck of a lot for us either way. So we just got to put it in its proper place and go compete hard and try to win it.
1 versus 2, LSU versus Oklahoma. That is LSU Gymnastics coach Jay Clark. Coach, thanks for hopping on with me. And everybody back home is going to be pulling for you guys. So good luck to you tonight.
Thank you, buddy. Y'all have a great day.
Absolutely. That was LSU Gymnastics coach Jay Clark. The Tigers taking on the Sooners in Norman, the Lloyd Noble Center tonight at 8 p.m. Central. We'll take a timeout. We're closing out hour number 2 next. You're on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, go to centralplumbing.org, the one-stop shop for all of your plumbing needs, but not only in Central. It is the entire greater Baton Rouge area. We are talking to you. If you have any plumbing issue, they are always going to be there for you 24/7, 365 weekend, holiday game day. Today, first pitch, 2 o'clock. And if you have an issue, trust me when I say they're still going to be there. 225-500-0774. 225-500-0774. That is the number. Call them today, centralplumbing.org.
Right, centralplumbing.org. And like Jake said, that's like a huge resource to have. Just knowing that if anything ever goes wrong at your place of work, at your home, with a plumbing, like they can call, and it doesn't matter what is happening. It doesn't matter if it's the bottom of the ninth. It doesn't matter if there's a huge gold medal race happening in the Olympics. They will come. They will service your every single need. Right there, centralplumbing.org.
I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey. I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey. I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey. I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey.
From the locker room to the airwaves, it's Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
All right, go to rouses.com, go see our friends, and, which location do you go see them at? Well, you got to find out. You got to go to the website and see which one is nearest you. And then once you find that out, we always talk about it, man. They've got incredible deals going on at your local store, and you're going to be able to see them in that weekly ad right there on the homepage. Now, we always encourage you, go walk in. You'll be blown away right when you walk in. All the things that make Rouse's great. You're going to be welcomed by king cakes and all these things that are so Louisiana, right? And they are so local. They're going to have their own stuff there. But when we say Louisiana, they're in more than just Louisiana. Across the Gulf Coast. We just went to one in Mobile, Alabama a couple of weeks ago when we were down there for the Senior Bowl. So, again, Find that location nearest you. How do you do that? You go to rouses.com.
Yeah, Rouse's on. Get ready for the tailgating weekend, baby. Do it local. A local grocery store. Go check out your nearest local Rouse's.
Is this song exactly 4 minutes long?
It's a good question.
Because that would be a missed opportunity if not. The song has to be 4 minutes long.
Okay, it says 4 minutes and 5 seconds, but I'm sure it's just like the end of
Like
the video.
the YouTube intro or outro or whatever. Okay, good. I was hoping it wasn't like,
Let's look
it's
on
like
Apple
320.
Music.
Braxton, we were talking shoes
Yeah.
in the break. Do you own a pair of Hey Dudes?
I don't anymore.
But you did.
I did.
Okay. Last time I said I had Hey Dudes, people said they were old man shoes.
No, people wearing for like casual, just casual
Like my
time.
dad
No,
loves Hey Dudes.
nothing wrong with it.
Look at
I'm
these
not
bad
saying there's
boys.
anything wrong with them, but they're definitely dad
Oh, yeah.
shoes.
These bad boys here, huh? The navy blue. I just bought these. These are like 2 weeks old.
Those are fresh.
Yeah, look at these. Look,
Well, you
look,
had
look.
to. Like, you're a dad now.
Look at
They're
these.
dad shoes.
Look at these.
You had to
It's
get new
perfect.
ones.
Look at them. Look at them pearly whites right there. Looks great. The problem with these is though they don't make half sizes. What size do
Yeah.
I wear? Of course, it's a 10.5. So I got to buy the 11. They're just a little floppy, and they kind of flop right off of me. But dude, they're comfy. I mean, it
They
feels
are
like I'm
comfy.
wearing slippers. And see, she's like, they're dad shoes. Like,
They're dad shoes.
I'm not Chris Marler wearing loafers with no socks into the
Bruh.
office,
And high
Alondra.
waters.
Okay,
And high waters.
at least I'm not wearing the loafers. Okay, we wanted to be
Oh my
on
God.
cash
Birkenstocks.
today.
If Chris is listening, he's going to text me immediately after hearing that. The man had high waters
I love
on.
my guy. No, look, I was tired. I had to work the women's game last night. I walked into my back door at 11:15 last night.
The back door?
Yeah.
You
Well-
go into your house from the back door?
Well, so our back door. Hell, I could pull it up on Zillow if I wanted. It's probably still there.
Don't do that.
Our back door. Our back door is it's kind of like on the back corner, and then we have a long driveway. So I pull right up, and then the door's right there at the back corner. So yeah, I mean we don't ever use our front door. The only time our front door is ever used is when Frankie's barking at the Amazon guys, dropping off packages. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So I walked in the back door at 11:15. I'm a little tired. Luckily, I got this brand new shirt, so it didn't need to be ironed or anything like that. And honestly, Alondra, do you have one of these?
What?
One of these LouisianaSports.net shirts?
Yeah, I do.
Matt had a few extra. He was passing them out. I guess it was Wednesday. A little bit see-through. Hanging up in my closet. I could see my hand on the other side.
Oh.
That's why I had to wear an undershirt. I thought about giving y'all a show this morning. I was like, we could be a little see-through on a Friday, a little scandalous, but I was like, you know what? I don't want people to get too excited. We're gonna chill out a little bit. We're gonna rein it in a little bit on this Friday. They call a flag football tournament tomorrow
Yeah.
out in Gonzales. The range is gonna be from 4 to 14. Kind of a wide range there. A lot of people got their COVID years of eligibility still remaining.
Oh my.
Like the guy at you've all seen the guy at Montana? There's
No.
a guy who plays football at Montana. I say guy, he's probably an old man now. He got his 9th year of eligibility the other day.
I mean, the dude from Miami, he was a tight end. Like, I don't know if he graduated.
Yeah,
probably
but he had a couple injuries though. But like this guy here,
But still, it was 8 years probably.
like what in the Van Wilder are we doing? This guy, I mean, again, like 9 years. His name is Solomon. Oh crap, Tuliat Tatupu. No way I didn't nail that last name, huh? He was granted a rare 9th year of NCAA eligibility.
Oh, yeah. Matt was saying his name the other day, and it was making me laugh really hard.
I'm not attempting. That's it. I'm one and done on that one. He graduated. What year did you graduate high school, Braxton?
2023.
Alondra, you were probably 14 or 15 or 15 or 16?
What, in 2023?
No, like graduating class, high school.
Oh, 16.
This guy graduated high school in 2018. And he will be playing college football next year. Now, he had a number of injuries. He did have multiple injuries. It forced him to miss at least 5 full seasons of competition.
That's a lot.
That's just bad luck at that point, and like I feel for you.
Why are you
I
still
know what
playing?
you dream. Like, bro, you're gonna
Back
be
it up.
collecting AARP here soon. You're 30 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be 30 in September. This guy's 26. Because I graduated high school in 14.
Yeah.
He's probably 26, 27. Somewhere in there, depending on where the birthday falls. Like, my God. There's grad assistant coaches on the staff younger than you by multiple years.
How far do you think TJ Finley? Is he a senior finally?
He's on his
7th year.
7th year.
Yeah.
But only 6 schools because he went to Tulane. He never actually played at Tulane. And then, like, he enrolled at Tulane in the spring, left after the spring, went in the fall. So
Has he been injured?
No, not really.
I don't know how you're getting that many extra years.
His first year here was the COVID year at LSU.
Right.
So that didn't count.
Right.
I think he did have an injury 1 year. Redshirted another year, played in less than 4 games. It's probably the Auburn year when Bo Nix was there. And so, I mean, it kind of snowballed on it a little bit. And, yeah, he's still in college. So is Max Johnson. People forget about that.
He really?
People talk about TJ Finley. Max Johnson's playing college football.
Where's he at?
I have no idea, but he's there. They were in the same high school class. So,
I love the interview with Carson Beck, I guess, leading to the national championship. They said, like, they were talking about classes and finals.
Yeah. Graduated 2 years ago.
Yeah. He said, how are classes going? He said, oh, I don't say any classes.
Right. He teaches the classes. Max Johnson. Max Johnson. It's like,
I
dude,
don't know why that made
it's like,
me laugh
dude,
so hard.
grading papers has been tough this semester. I'm not going to lie to you. Max Johnson at Georgia Southern. So, back in his home state. But, all right, that's going to wrap up hour number 2. Coming up, busy hour number 3. Ross Jackson, 9 o'clock, 9:30, Doug Thompson. Then we're wrapping this week up here on Off the Bench.
Off the bench.